cap off my second attempt at a Porsche Week, I bring you this, John's 981 Cayman GT4. This car really, to me, embodies all that is right and wrong with not just the Porsche world, but the car world in general. If things have gone to plan, the last video you'll have seen out of me would have been the Cayman R. And that is a vehicle that I think did disappoint an awful lot of people, because what they were expecting, really, was this. Now, if you've forgotten, to recap, the Cayman GT4 was essentially a 981 generation Cayman with a 911 Carrera engine in the back, well, the middle, with a tiny bit more power than the 911 got, I think. And the entire front end, more or less, from a 911 GT3. They were very reasonably priced when they came out too, starting at, if memory serves, about £65,000. However, they came out right in the middle of car hysteria, and so it didn't take very long before people were asking over £100,000 for one of these. Consequently, so many of them just slipped into collections or under car covers in dark corners of garages, never ever to be seen. Fortunately, an equal number were certainly enjoyed, and this is one of those. Not only has this car brought an awful lot of joy to its owner, it's done the same thing for many people, and that to me is the best thing you could do with any car. John's part of the Sporting Bears, a charity which at some points in the past I have been involved with. The aim of the Sporting Bears is a most noble one. Through the power of motor cars, they get money to help out children that don't always have the best lives. Something I think we can all get behind. You may think that this car is wrapped, but it's not. What you see here are a collection of stickers, faithfully recreating the Lightning McQueen car from the movie Cars. We're talking about cars today. Cars. The stickers not only make the car look good, but they also protect some of the vital parts of paintwork from damage, especially the big ones on the side, which are an area that will often get peppered with stone chips, especially if you take a car on track. It has been a number of years since I last drove a 981 Cayman GT4. I fairly recently did the 718 Boxster Spider, but with prices of these finally starting to become a little more realistic, it seemed like an excellent time to revisit the car once all the madness has subsided and see if it really was that good. In short, yes, this is one of the most exciting, engaging driver's cars out there now or ever. Much like my beloved Lotus Evora 400, the car that started this channel, the Cayman GT4 has just the right amount of power. Like nearly all Boxsters and Caymans, it is a little bit too long-geared for its own good, and a very popular modification is to change the final drive on these. I would like to try a more modified version of the GT4 to see if you can actually improve it that much, but my initial instinct would be to only make it sound a little bit better, perhaps with some intake modifications or I believe a Sharkworks manifold, and to put that shorter final drive on. That really would be it. Now, they are very spec-sensitive cars, and the one thing that in my mind is an absolute essential are these carbon bucket seats. They are the same ones as you'd get in the 918 Spider, and they are absolutely magnificent. They strike that perfect blend between support and comfort that only the very best buckets can. I'd happily cross a continent with these, or throw this car around a track. Unlike its successor, it also sounds like a proper Porsche. Most importantly though, it steers like a proper Porsche. That helm is absolutely alive, wriggles around and moves, and it was a sign that Porsche could get electric steering right after having failed fairly miserably with the first generation 991. Is it perhaps as engaging and as exciting at road speeds as the Cayman R? No, not necessarily, but it delivers a very different type of experience. This is certainly a car that you can carry, say, another 10 to 15 mile an hour through every single bend over the Cayman R, and it won't move in the sort of liquid way that the R does, but it's no less rewarding. Throttle response, absolutely sensational. And that gear shift, yes, that is how they are done. It's short, it's precise. The phrase rifle bolt is one that's often wheeled out to describe a good gearbox, but here it is genuinely applicable. As an aside, today I'm also debuting a new audio recording system, so please comment and tell me whether you've noticed a difference compared to other videos of mine you've recently seen, either good or bad. I'd like to know, especially because I just spent a lot of money on the thing. The GT4 is also one of those rare cars that can be so many things to so many different people, in much the same way that I often describe the 911. You could see this as a hardcore track car, but actually, I believe for road use, it's far better damped than the 718, which is just a bit too firm. There is a sport button for the suspension and the car and the exhaust, but the only one I've pressed is for the exhaust because that's the only one that I really care about. This car really is Porsche at the height of their powers. And it's sad, but we are unlikely to see cars quite like this ever again. Even the 718 in many ways, I think, is a lesser car. It really is. This will always be a special car for being the first to have this formula. And subsequent iterations are going to get a little quieter. I'm sure faster. But are they going to be more exciting? I'm not sure that they are. So, Cayman GT4. The most fun modern Porsche? Let's double check. Steering, like a Porsche. Throttle, brake, perfectly judged, like a Porsche. Chassis, playful. Oh yeah, this is the real deal. Would I pay £100,000 for one? No. Simple reason being that there are other, more enticing cars that I'd pay that kind of money for. Would I pay 60 odd grand for one? Yes. I said that this was both the best and worst that Porsche had to offer, and I still believe that is very true. I hate the concept of these cars being traded like an asset, like a painting, like some rare minerals that you've dug up out of the earth. Because the fact is that there is one thing, and one thing only, that this car absolutely excels at, and that's being driven. And if you're not into that, just buy something else. Please, anything else. But when done right, this car is absolutely the very best that Porsche can manage. And when shared and enjoyed and used for good like John does, this is the very best that a car can be, and a fitting end to my second Porsche week. Bye-bye.